Welcome to Flavor Text, an extension of the Max Level podcast brought to you by OP Seat. Whether you're a master or grandmaster, you can't go wrong with OP Seat, the official gaming chair of Level Down Games. Upgrade your battle station with OP Seat, the best chairs in the business. Be sure to subscribe to the Max Level podcast on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice to hear a brand new episode every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. On today's episode of Flavor Text, the crew discusses the potential future of digital trade-ins. Support us by clicking that subscribe button, hit the like, turn notifications on, and drop us a comment down below. All right, so for Flavor Text this week, I want to talk about something that Sean, you actually posted in our Discord channel in one of our channels that we used to talk as a team, as a staff, and it's kind of interesting here. So I want to talk about that for a few minutes. Sony has recently stopped offering full digital codes to retailers for them to sell in stores to help them get a piece of the pie in terms of digital sales. Now, I looked this up. This stopped as of April 1st, so it stopped on Monday. Sony later confirmed to Eurogamer that the policy applies to all retailers worldwide. So this includes Amazon, GameStop, Game Over in the UK, etc. Going forward, digital games can only be purchased through PlayStation Network on the PlayStation Store. However, no changes are currently being made to codes like DLC, season passes, virtual currencies, wallet funds, PlayStation Plus cards. All of those retailers are still going to be carrying. They're just getting rid of the actual digital codes for full games that you used to be able to, like to say, to walk into Best Buy and buy a code or a card for, Anthem or whatever, Days Gone, but later in the future, talking Sony games, Days Gone later this month coming out. So, that won't be there in terms if you walk into Walmart and try to buy it. You can't do it digitally. You can buy it physically, but not digitally. So I want to get your guys' thoughts. Brian here, joined with Frank and Sean as always. Didn't say it at the beginning. That's okay.
What's up?
They are here now. There they are. The woo, that was Sean pretending to be Ric Flair, but he is here too. I want to get your guys' thoughts on why Sony is doing this and if you think it's a good idea or not. So let's hear it.
Have you guys ever actually bought a digital copy of a game, like on a card?
Nope.
For yourself?
Nope.
No,
I've bought one once for a friend because I knew she had Xbox and I couldn't, and it was for Cuphead. It was a game that did not have a physical release.
Yeah, so you had to, if you wanted to buy it in store, like if you wanted to use your store credit or something at GameStop, which I've seen is like a big reason why some people are pissed off about this, because they trade stuff into GameStop or Game or Amazon or whatever. They get store credit and they like buying the games through them, and they can't, they buy them digitally that way. So that way they do whatever, for whatever reason. You can still buy them physically, but you talk Cuphead specifically, Frank, you hit a good one there. The game wasn't sold physically. So if you traded something into GameStop to buy Cuphead, well, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason I've ever done that. I don't see the appeal. I see these in the stores all the time. Like Walmart will have them, like the cards of the games.
They have a whole freaking shelf of them, dude.
Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I understand DLC. I understand season passes, digital currency, which I'm not a big fan of, but I understand all that stuff. I don't understand why not just get the game, especially because the digital games take up space.
Yeah,
and they cost the same amount. So you're paying the same amount for not a physical copy of something, no artwork, no nothing. You're just getting the game.
Yeah, you're getting a piece of paper that you're going to throw away as soon as you put that code in your system.
I don't understand the allure of that. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I've bought games for you before. I've given you codes, but those are Steam games. If I wanted to get you an actual like PlayStation game, I'll buy you the damn PlayStation game.
Right. But I mean, and if you were going to buy me a digital game on PS4, I'm okay just having the digital game. Like I don't necessarily, I'm not going to run out to a local store and buy a piece of paper with a code on it. If I'm buying a digital game, if I know I'm buying a digital game, I'm just going to put my information in there and buy the game. Like I don't need to buy it at a local store. So I can see why they're doing this. And I do think it makes sense, but I see why the vocal minority is upset because they want to be able to trade their games in, because you can't trade games in right now digitally on PS4. You can't trade games in digitally on Xbox One. There are rumors you might be able to next generation. They're talking about potentially digital trade-ins, which would be huge for the industry. It would be a major thing. And I think that's actually a smart thing to potentially implement in the future. Just you buy the license for the game digitally, and then when you're done with it or you no longer want it, you trade the license back in. That's all you're doing. You're giving up the license for a portion of the money back. I think that's actually really smart. But, trading games in right now to Amazon or to GameStop specifically, and then buying a digital code with that game, again, specifically for things like Cuphead that you can't buy physically, I get why people would want to do that. But that is such a small crowd. That is such a small thing. And if they aren't making money off doing it, and if they aren't selling that much, which I think is a big reason why they're doing this, they cannot be selling that much. We just said none of us have ever really bought in one. Why do it in the first place?
Do you want to trade used games? This is how you trade used games. You want to trade codes? This is how you trade codes. When we talk about Sony and being available to all parts of their audience, I think they're narrowing it just a tad, and it makes sense from a business perspective, I think. When you look at inventory and you look at all these games that never get purchased at the stores, if you're a kid, let's say you're 11 years old and you don't have a credit card and your mom doesn't want you to use hers. Understandable. A lot of people live in this way of life where their parents don't have the money on their debit card or don't have the credit limit right now, and they can't afford purchasing a $60 game. But guess what? Johnny's been mowing lawns and he's got quarters and nickels and a couple 20s. He's going to go buy the game. You want to encourage Johnny to just buy the physical game and not buy the code, because what if he is like the rest of us where he wants to have a catalog but doesn't want to have 55 CD cases, and that kind of is a perfect storm scenario. I think that's the only type of market, participant that is affected by this. So in my opinion, being a grown man, which is debatable to some people I know, but if I'm going to buy a digital game, I'm just going to buy it. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to get my car, go down to the store, waste my gas. I could just buy the game digitally on the marketplace. And by the time I would have gotten back anyways from all that, the game's probably downloaded and done, and I can play it. I can still be in my sweats.
That's the appeal of the all digital future. You can be like Frank sitting there naked on your couch, buying digital games. You don't have to put pants on when you're recording a podcast like he does. We know.
I am wearing pants today it's a rarity, but I'm actually.
You can sit there without your pants on. You can sit there on your couch, all lounging out, spread eagle, whatever you want to do, and you can buy a digital game, and you don't have to leave. You don't have to go anywhere. You're saving on gas money. You don't have to go anywhere. In a day and age where gas, sometimes it's cheap, sometimes it's not. Then again, it's $2 or $3 isn't even cheap anyway. Back in my day, gas was 60 cents. You know how it is. But
and you paid with wooden nickels too.
Paid with them wooden nickels and wooden teeth. There's an appeal for an all digital future, and going to a store to buy a digital code is counterintuitive to an all digital future.
Honestly, I think it's a failed experiment. That's all it is.
I get why they exist, and you mentioned it. You can't keep the inventory of all these games.
Yeah, you can't.
They probably could keep like a Dewey Decimal System card catalog of all these digital codes, but even then, it's still a physical thing. Every one of these codes comes on a card.
And they're so easy to lose, dude. They're so easy to lose. They're a paper thin. They're paper. That's what they are. They're paper thin pieces of paper. Doesn't even make sense. Absolutely not. But I'm running with it.
but the problem with these codes is they're never on sale. Never ever on sale. At least if you were to buy through a Nintendo or a PlayStation, which I was on here. So these games go on sale on the shops.
Often, especially Sony. Often they put their games on sale on PSN.
In fact, I think they're always on sale on Sony if you buy them like ahead of time. If you buy like a week or so ahead of time.
If you pre-order digitally, you usually save like 10%. Yeah, you usually do.
But there's never a discount on these cards. I mean, you'll go out right now and you'll go for GTA. GTA is still selling for the same price. Don't buy the digital card. You want to buy the full version so you actually get the extra in-game currency. That's a little pro tip from me to you.
It's the $30 version you want to buy, right? Like the physical copy, which comes with like a crap ton of the actual virtual currencies. Yeah. Which is why that game is always in the top 10 or the NPDs.
Yeah, but it's these things are nonsensical. Like there's no real reason to have these things. But honestly, even the DLC I feel really doesn't need to be something, but I understand them having it just so that the retailer can find a way to try to sell you something extra.
This hurts the people who can't afford all the new games. That's it. And that is unfortunately a larger population of the marketplace than Sony wants to appreciate. So, I don't know about you guys. I have a job. My wife has a job, but we also have a mortgage. We got bills. We got things we got to do. And I have a budget for my gaming. For me, going in and trading in some things and having credit to purchase a new game sounds really appealing, which you would think is only the case for like the 12-year-old or someone like that who doesn't have an income. But this does hurt a little bit. There is a reason why this is newsworthy. And really what it comes down to is they don't want to sell a game and give up a percentage of it to these retailers when, honestly, they could get it themselves. And that is a crappy part to gamers. Make no mistake about it. That's crappy for gamers. And it also limits the availability, in my opinion, of how you can get games, even though you can look at it and say, well, Sean, $40 is $40. You're going to spend it anyways. Well, guess what? If I trade in something that I'm not using for $15, I can get $15 off the game. That's a lot of money off of a $40 game. It makes it a reality as where before it wasn't. So do I think it's going to make the marketplace, move so much that it's an impact? No,
absolutely not.
But there are individual consumers who will be affected by this. There's a reason why there's a change. And Sony is going to see an increase in dollars, and you're going to see a decrease in people buying the game and getting to experience it who otherwise couldn't. Now, I don't know if that's going to be enough, but hey, we'll see. But like you said, if they can make it to where you can start trading in your old keys and saying, you know what, hey, I played this game for 2 weeks. I'm just not a fan of it. Why don't you give me back 70% or 60% of what I paid for it? Maybe that'll open up for these people who can't afford to pay full sticker price for a game. That might be something that they could look into. Honestly, I don't know if that's a good idea, but it's an idea.
Is this the first step in implementing a program like that for next generation? Pulling these digital codes from retailers, is this a sign that maybe we are going to be able to do that? Because I said there are rumors that Microsoft and Sony are going to allow you to trade in digital games. And I think you should be able to trade in digital games. I can't tell you how many digital games I have on PS4, even Switch to an extent. I have a shitload of digital games that I just am not playing right now.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you're going to get into this market space of being all digital, are you going to learn from the king, which is Steam? Most digital purchases are spontaneous.
Yep.
They're done in the moment. You look at the 6 pictures and the one video they put on there and you think, hey, this looks great. I'm going to go for it because I'm desperate and I need a game right now. So Steam actually has this market figured out. They allow you to return the game if you've played X amount of hours below the limit.
Less than 2 hours, yes.
Right? And also it's a time frame thing, like a couple days or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So if you implement that, then you're golden. Because if you go into the store and you buy a digital code, it's the same thing, in my opinion, as doing your research, waiting, trying to figure it out, and then you go to the store and buy it.
You're committing to it at that point.
You're making a commitment, right? You're not just jumping in both feet. You're actually, hey, I know what I'm getting into. I've thought this out. So if they can make that happen, where you can take away the negative impact of making a spur of the moment purchase digitally, then I'm 100% for it. Because not only is it wasting end cap space for stores, which is very valuable.
It is.
But also you're basically just keeping the market the same way that it was. People who buy digital tickets are not digital buyers, period. So maybe we can work that out. Maybe that's something they can do. Learn from Steam. There's a reason why they're successful. Now, they may not be as successful now that Epic's coming in, but
right. It remains to be seen. Exactly.
But counter argument to my argument, there are Steam cards all over the freaking store too.
Yes, there are.
Sure.
Yes, there are. But usually it's just digital currency, which we know that Sony is still going to be selling at stores as well.
True.
Yeah,
true.
You're just buying the currency for Steam. You're not really actually buying Steam games. Now, the exclusive games, do they sell codes to redeem for Artifact? I don't know. Probably not. I think it is just digital currency for Steam. I want to see it taken a step further, man, in the future. Like I said, obviously you can actually trade games back to Steam and it's not even trading, it's refunding, so to speak, where if you've played it for less than 2 hours, you get a full refund if you don't like the game. I want to see a trade-in system, a digital trade-in system that, and I think there has to be some limitations to it. There definitely has to be, they're going to have to figure out a way to differentiate between what was given as a sample or a review unit and what was given or purchased. You know what I mean? So I think there has to be a way to where, for someone like myself who works in the industry reviewing games,
so something paid versus something redeemed.
Correct. There has to be a differentiation between paid and redeemed, because there might be some less moral people out there than myself that would get a code from a publisher or developer and play the game for review and then potentially trade it in. I think that's a shitty, scummy move, and I don't want to see that actually start happening. So there has to be a way to differentiate a digital license to something. Yes, this was paid for. It can be traded in. Yes, this was redeemed. No, it cannot be traded in. There has to be a way to do that.
So here's what I would like to see done, and you can tell me if I'm crazy. I think they should actually take a page out of GameStop's book. I know a lot of people hate GameStop, but they are the market leader when it comes to regurgitating material.
Yeah.
Okay. If you take a prorated system based on hours played, or whatever you want to use as your metric, whether it's time owned, hours played, achievements unlocked, I don't care. If you do a prorated, like, hey, you know what? I played this game for 4 hours. I really don't like it. It doesn't run well on my PC, whatever the case may be. Can you give me back some of my money? I think that would still be a huge victory to some developers. And the reason why I say this is EA Access was a huge game changer for me.
I love it.
If you go on there and you spend $5, you get to play Anthem for 8 hours. That is one heck of a deal.
I love it.
And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't have bought Anthem if I didn't have the ability to get in and check it. I didn't buy it, but at least you got $5 out of me to check something out that I wasn't going to buy anyways.
Yeah, you're making money off someone you wouldn't have made money on a cent off of. You just made $5. I
was not an Anthem customer. I was not. And you know what prevents me from buying a lot of games on Kickstarter, Steam, whatever, is the fact that I have no way to get it back if I don't like it. If I buy a game physically in a store, I can go return it, or I can go resell it to places like GameStop and make something back, and my risk is diminished as a consumer. That sounds like something that they could totally figure out. I like where you're going with it.
Yeah, and I mean, this conversation totally took a different change to where I thought it was going to go, but I kind of like the direction we took it in. This could actually be a catalyst, a something that, it initiates this change, this potential system for the future. And in a year where we know we're going to see the next generation of Xbox formally revealed and announced, in a year we know the PlayStation 5 is getting announced, in a year where the Wall Street Journal is already saying that there's 2 versions of the Switch coming in 2019, in a year where these new models and platforms and systems and consoles are coming, we might start hearing about this digital trade-in as well this year. It's a possibility.
Well, I'll tell you, Xbox needs to take a page out of this book, because they got crapped on pretty hard when they said they were no longer going to do CD drives. If you do something like that with a no CD drive system, watch people change their tone.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm able to, and that is a great point, and is potentially even pointing further that this is going to be a reality and something that is happening, is that is an all digital box right there. With no CD drive, that's an all digital box. And to be able to still trade something in that you don't want and have access to. And I think that going based off of time played is not going to happen. It's going to be the GameStop model. It's going to be based off of the length of the game's been out. So if you trade a game in, if you buy it digitally and you trade a game in within like 3 to 7 days of it first releasing, you're going to get probably close to 50% of your money back. If you buy, say, Days Gone April 26th at GameStop physically, and you trade it back in 5 days later, you're going to get $30, $35 for it. That's generally just how it goes. That's the GameStop model. But then you wait 2 weeks, it's down to $24 that you're trading it in for. You wait 3 weeks, it's down to $20, so on and so forth until it's worth $1 after like 6 months. So you have a set limited time to really get back at least somewhat half of what you paid. And that's not a bad system, especially digitally. You buy the game half, you're saving on the gas money. You never, again, you're Frank, you don't have to put pants on, you don't have to leave your house. And you're buying this digital game, you play it, you finish it. Now, granted, you have to be able to finish the game in a short amount of time, within like a week or so. But then you trade it back in and you get your $30 back. You paid 60, you get 30 back. That's not a bad deal.
Something that clicked in my head while you guys, while we were exploring this. If you get a digital sale, and part of buying a game for the experience for you is getting the box, getting the manual, like seeing all the cool stuff, having it for your collection, make a digital collection, and you will see tons of people go digital instead of buying boxes. Give me new perks and sounds for my menu navigation through my system that correspond with my game. Nintendo has this market already started on their 3DS line.
Yes.
And they did really well with it. And so if they could make this an industry trend, you will see a ton of people buy digitally now, because now you're getting things that you constantly are using and seeing, as opposed to a box that you don't pull off your bookcase anymore. Let's face it, the only reason to have a game collection nowadays is so it looks rad when you have it on a shelf.
Yeah.
That's it.
No,
if you can impress more people with your blue boxes, then you're cool.
I buy physical for the main reason that my friend also buys physical. So when he's done with his game, I lend him mine, he lends me his, and I save money that way. So I don't have to buy every single game that comes out.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's true. He's playing God of War, and I got to play. He had the other Wolfenstein that I didn't have, so I got. It was a nice little fair that it would be cool if we could actually trade digital games between each other, but then that would just bottom out the market. So
could you imagine them having a feature that says "Lend my friend this game"?
I was just going to mention that is a possibility on Steam. You can digitally gift your games to somebody else on Steam. Once you've played it, you can gift it to somebody else. There is a possibility that happens in the future for Sony and Microsoft as well.
That would be cool.
It'd be great to split the difference, because I don't have $60 to buy every single game out there.
Right.
But if we want to go halvesies on a game, I play it first, then you play it, and then or we can get 2 games.
Or they just do the smart route and implement the quote unquote paid family plan that Steam has. Like, you can have a and it is, you don't have to pay for it on Steam. The way it works is that you have a family plan on Steam, and it could be my PC connected to Frank's PC, connected to Sean's PC, connected to Jessica's PC upstairs. And you have these, the way it works is you have to log into your account on everybody's PC. So really you're just like kind of sharing your password, but still, once you're logged in, you have access to everybody's library, but the game can only be played at the same time on the PC that it was originally purchased on locally, plus one other PC. That is a possibility for something in the future as well, that they could potentially do, to where, they have it's like a buddy system, to where you buddy up with somebody, and if all of us did it, and it would be like the Level Down Games type of thing, like it would be all of us, and then we'd have access to the games that way. And it's the smartest fucking thing to do, I'm telling you right now, because then these reviewers, these companies, they only have to send you one code, and then everybody has access to it, and you're doing it that way so that the entire team can have access to the games and experience them and talk about them on podcasts and talk about them on websites and word of mouth. It would encourage more sales. It would encourage more people to play the games, especially, again, for people like us that do this for a job. We play the games, we talk about the games, we hype the games up. We are hype influencers. That's basically what it comes down to. And a system like that, you only have to send out one code as opposed to 6. And it's a smarter system. I don't know. I think there's room for this to change and grow in the future.
I think we'll family up later on tonight.
Yeah, but that's a slippery slope.
That's what I was going to say. There's room to grow and there's room to change this.
If you do that, you're going to see a rise in microtransactions in games.
100%.
Because you're losing out on revenue opportunities where someone on the fence could drop $60. So you're going to get money back as a whole from everybody else. Like there will be a balance. There will be an ebb and flow to that. So, but I am intrigued by it. I think if you want that, you will see more pay to play experience wise.
More games as a service.
Yeah. Or maybe you just see Steam come out with a program called Steam Pro where you can do all those things, but you're paying monthly or annually to do it.
It would be worth it if they charged monthly, because you could just split the monthly cost. I mean, that would be the intent and that would be the purpose. Like they know you would do that, but they charge you $30 a month. You have 5 people, you're each paying $6 a month. Worth it. Still totally worth it. So yeah. I think this definitely has room to change. This has room to grow. But the important question is, out there listening to this, what do you think is going to happen? What do you want to happen with this? Drop us a comment down below. Let us know, first of all, if you're upset that the retail cards are being pulled from, the digital retail cards being pulled from retailers, but also if you're excited for a system that we actually took the conversation in, where you could potentially trade in digital games or party up as a family system or a buddy system and share digital licenses. We want to know, we want to hear from you what you think. Let us know, comment section below. Thanks for checking out a new episode of Flavor Text. If you enjoyed what you just heard, be sure to click that subscribe button and turn notifications on, leave a like, and drop a comment down below. We'll see you next time.